And at the current moment, I'm a little alone right now. But we have had a little bit of Marissa Stole the Precious Thing from Iosis. That one's quite an old one. A lot of people really enjoyed that one way back in the day. In fact, it's how a lot of people got interested in the Touhou. I thought it was just kind of an interesting thing to drop by along with that, and Bad Apple was another one of those. So it's an interesting thing to just kind of take a look back at the things that it used to be. I do believe that video was... Shoot. I could probably just take a quick look at the moment. That came out 6 years ago. Feels like it's been a little bit longer since Marissa Stole the Precious Thing, but that was definitely a first for a lot of people way back in the day, and the stable thing. It was a remix of I had notes right here for it. No, not link. No, bad. Thank you very much. There we are. It was a remix of Doll Judgment, which was Alice's thing, and that was an interesting go at it. But for right now, we're probably just gonna go ahead and jump right into the next song we have in this queue up. If you enjoy some Scarlet Devil Mansion music or whatnot, this is gonna be Drums and Bass of Flower Bless by Ravel Nightstar. And that was Drums and Bass of Flower Bless by Ravel Nightstar. A rather interesting take, I thought, on Sakia's theme. And I've always had a soft spot for Sakia's theme. It's a rather nice theme. It did catch on. There was a lot of memes over just the very simple beat that it brought. And this one brought a little more of a sophisticated touch, I could say, or a taste. Kind of lovely. We're probably just going to go ahead and jump straight into the next one. As, you know, my hosts are apparently still asleep. As they last told me that they were going to get some sleep and they went offline, and they're still offline. And so, just for the record, they are a bunch of scrubs. So for now, here's Blood Red Moon by Magna Drake. And there we had Raisin's theme. It was a little bit of a hard style, and I'd rather enjoyed it. I mean, I was listening to just random things people did last week, and considering that one of our hosts kind of enjoys having Raisin and enjoys some of her music, especially Imperishable Night, pardon me. Especially since Imperishable Night does have some really good music. That's kind of when Zune took a step out of the MIDI trumpets and just kind of actually made some other music that was pretty good. I'm not saying that Scarlet Devil Mansion wasn't pretty good, nor Perfect Cherry Blossom, but they definitely had that niche of trumpets weren't exactly the thing. Or trumpets, what that's sarcastically saying too. It was definitely what? Oh. Well, now Touhou is online, but apparently it's election. Where Touhou is? What's the thing? It is down that if I go offline, things may have gone bad, and I'm probably hiding or running away from riots or something. We'll keep you guys updated. What? Okay. Well, that's quite a reason. Okay, then. GG. That's all I can really say at this point. It's time's over there, apparently. All because elections. Somewhere over in the eastern countries. Good luck, Touhou. Wish you luck, don't die. But what was the topic we were back on? Something about MIDI trumpets. That's right. MIDI trumpets was the thing that Zune just kind of grew out of for just a little bit after Perfect Cherry Blossom, and then through Imperishable Night and Mountain of Faith and Subterraneanism, he kind of just moved on up and out of that. And it was a good move. It was a good move, and then he just kind of started to slowly creep back into it. But I think it's a charm. I think personally, it's a charm for Zune to kind of have that thing where he knows he can just kind of jump back into it for a little bit. And the classic old fans, the ones that really liked Perfect Cherry Blossom and Scarlet Devil Mansion, they really, really enjoyed those. And so, yeah, it's going back to your roots. It's kind of like Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog. A lot of people loved Sonic the Hedgehog with how good it was for Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, and 3, and Sonic and Knuckles. Some people question Sonic 3D Blast. And I think it was Sonic Spinball was voted one of the Sega Genesis worst composed game soundtracks, which I grew up with it, so I really don't know how shit it is. I have nostalgia with it, and I think maybe possibly some of the Touhou community has nostalgia with the MIDI trumpets. And so I think it's a good thing for Zune to kind of just go back and pluck those strings every now and then. And it's a thing. It seems to be a thing that a lot of people are or at least a lot of companies are doing these days. They're pulling up nostalgia. It's like, oh, you remember Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles you liked way back then? We're gonna do nostalgia, and we're gonna make a movie. And then we're going to take this Ghostbusters that you liked as a kid. We're going to make a movie. And then we're going to take Power Rangers and make a movie. And then Transformers. We're going to make 5 of those. And Explosions. And it's going to be renamed Transform-Splosions. And it was a lot of what is going on today. I feel it really hinges on what nostalgia a lot of today's people have. And it's working. I mean, clearly they keep doing it. So a lot of people are still, jumping into it. and paying money to see these things, even though they know more than likely it's gonna be crap. I mean, they went back to Independence Day, you know, like a couple years ago. They went back to Independence Day and like made a second movie on a movie that was already, some people would already say like, oh yeah, it was a terrible movie. I remember it with nostalgia, and I still want to see like Independence Day 2. I haven't yet, but I would like to see it and then see how they treated it. But unfortunately, it just seems to be a trend that, especially for like a media culture, that we've kind of just become. You know, it's like those of us who were born in like the late 70s, early 80s, and up. And then up, you know, we just kind of had like those TV shows, and they're getting revamped, and so we're having that flood back, that oh, this is so good, this is gonna be amazing. I remember liking this as a child, and now we get to see it be crumbled to pieces slowly as we realize, man, that show sucked when I was a kid. But you know what's not gonna suck? This newy sound that I've also got right here. This is A Seeping Bloodline, The Prison of Lunacy, also from Newy Sound, so I hope you guys enjoy. Ah, that was lovely. Not very many people like vocals. I find them a little more relaxing, especially when it comes to Nui Sound's vocalist. That was Nayuta. She does a lot of her vocals, especially for this one. What was it called? Can't even remember. It's a good. It's. Don't. Let's see. Oh, they literally just named it. Ewan Owen was her. They literally just named it as it was. They didn't even credit her on this one. It's the same vocalist, I know for sure. But yeah, she does have a lovely voice, and she does work with Nui Sound quite a fair bit. Still, it's like I don't when it comes to the language barrier, you know, I don't know Japanese. I can pick up a few words. I know a couple words. I'm not even going to go through it and embarrass myself on what I do know and what I don't know. But it's relaxing. You can tell the mood just by like the way they talk and whatnot, and it's. I have no complaints. I'll listen to some vocals. Now, granted, I'd still like, you know, glitch hop and such stuff like that, but vocals are an okay thing, especially in moderation. Now, one thing I kind of don't like, but you know, I will bite the bullet and eventually play some here on Touhou Tuesday eventually. It's gonna be rap. I'm not really all for rap. I'll enjoy it for like the memes, for instance, you know, Snoop Dogg's 420 every day, which yesterday I just saw this video by Motendu. He had I forget the name of the anime, but it was the one where it's a restaurant type of thing, like a slice of life restaurant, and one of the characters is like a meme for being a trap. And so Motendu, who's like a pretty popular guy for, you know, making the most outlandish videos that you would ever think to see, you know, like the Old Spice body wash odor blocker dude with the Mario theme. And he made that like just the other day, and it just like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, what the hell did I just watch? Weirdest thing I have seen in a long time. And I see weird things all the time. You know, I'll put my YouTube to just autoplay. I'll watch something, And the funny thing is someone will send me like a playlist, and I'll just like grab a couple of songs, and I'm like, oh, I don't think I've heard this one. I don't think I've heard this one, and I'll just queue them up in a row, and I'll start playing, and it'll be on autoplay, and it'll keep going. It'll finish those songs, and it'll keep going. It'll go to another song, and it'll go to another song, and then it goes to a video, which I'm just like, okay, whatever. I'll just let it play through the video. I'm not going to bother alt-tabbing to mess with that. And then we just start getting onto the weird things. Like, I remember somebody once said that they were just letting it go. They went to sleep, or they fell asleep. They woke up to weird cartoons of, like, Mickey peeing into a bathtub and then watching Minnie Mouse getting into the bathtub in a bikini, which was what side? Okay, that is the weird side of YouTube. Like, when you hit YouTube poops, you're wading into the weird stuff on the internet. And my wife every now and again will just come up behind my shoulder, see some weird thing happening on the computer screen, and she'll be like, "Are you on the weird side of YouTube again?" And I'm like, "I don't have no freaking clue." But considering that there's stuff out there of Mickey whizzing into a pool for Minnie to get into, means that I quite haven't gotten that far into the weird side of YouTube. And I don't even want to try and wrap my mind around how actual weird YouTube can be. I'm talking about this whole thing while messing with this smoke detector. I know it's a weird thing to just have at your desk, because these playlists be on fire. And don't you hate it when like the batteries on your smoke detector just kind of wear out and it just starts doing that beep thing? But I got one of these like heat alarms. Apparently, if it rises quickly in temperature in the house, what sets it off. So it's not really smoke or gas, because smokers could set it off if it was like the one that detects like nitrogen, or not nitrogen, carbon dioxide buildup and stuff like that. Smokers can set those off, and then like bad cooking can set off the smoke ones. This one detects like a fast increase in temperature in your house, and that's what makes it go off, which we really haven't had a false set off for these things. And I know this is a weird thing to just suddenly jump onto. I literally just segued to the weirdest things on when I just let my brain just flow. And since I have no co-hosts, talking about you, Awoo, Reina, both of y'all. Well, Awoo's got a legit reason. Going through like a revolution, and they're going back to the samurai era. I'm kidding. Don't hate me. Awoo's going back to, they're going through elections, and so like there's riots and stuff that are happening. And Taryn is currently at work. He's doing the adult thing. I already did my adult thing today. I already went to work. I did my thing, and I came back home, and I took like a half-hour nap, and then got up to do this train wreck of a disaster. Reina, I have no clue where she is. No clue at all. I should really just take that little picture template up there and just get rid of the chugging Momiji, which is the Woo. I should get rid of the June, which is Aaron, and I should get rid of the Raisin, which is Reina, and just have me stand there like an idiot. Because that's how I feel like right now. I feel like I'm just rambling because I'm an idiot. And I'm sitting here talking about, of all things, fire alarms, because I'm holding one in my hand. I mean, if I just probably drop this and let's pick up this. Hey, look, that is a bottle of vitamin D3. I actually have nothing to talk about on that. We're just gonna drop that right there. And I've actually rambled for quite a while. Let's get to some music. How about that? It sounds like a good thing, right? So let's see. Next on this list, we have, music artists. Okay, I sit here and I act surprised, but no, I knew about it in advance. This magnum opus is the artist. did a great job naming this song. I want you to try and guess, like, the original song. Like, this is a remix of this song. Try and guess the original song just by the title. It is Reach for the Moon, Immortal Smoke. Gee, I wonder which Touhou theme song that is a remix of, because they did nothing for that. So with that down, this is Magnum Opus's Reach for the Moon, Immortal Smoke. And that was a lovely, rather, fast-paced, ear-busting, which is best to listen to, that kind of metal at ear-busting volumes, is Reach for the Moon, Immortal Smoke, which was Fujiwara no Moko's theme. Fun fact, when I cosplayed my first Touhou character, way back in the day, I chose Moko because she was the only one that wore pants. And I wasn't quite, since Touhou's mostly like 99.99% a female cast out of like the 41 zillion characters that especially now exist today. There's a lot more characters than what there was 8-9 years ago. I chose her because she was the most manly. She wore pants, and I didn't have to have a breeze going under a skirt and giving me the chills. But I cosplayed Fujiwara no Moko back then. I did a long wig like the first 2 times, and then after that I'm like, screw this. The long hair is a mess to work with. And I just then, from then on, went with a short wig. Short white-haired wig to go with. And I just called myself Fujiwara no Manko. Which, the funny thing is, Manko is Japanese vagine, politely saying. So that was an interesting thing, especially when Zune first came to the US, and it was AWA a couple years ago, and a friend of mine who spoke Japanese would translate for a couple of things. He didn't have like perfect Japanese, but he had a good majority of Japanese down pat. And he told Zune what my cosplay was. And as soon as I heard him say Manko, Zune cracked a smile. And I knew exactly what it is at that point, that Zune had a pretty good sense of humor, especially when it came to just like poo-poo. So that was like a big point in like my Moko cosplay, was the fact of I made Zune laugh. After that, I then went on to cosplay like Hong Manling, as I then labeled it, because it's kind of a half skirt, half pants kind of thing, and that was pretty fun. My wife cosplayed Sakya, so there was a lot of jokes to be had there. So we're gonna just kind of slide into the next song. That was Reach for the Moon, Immortal Smoke. Now, what is right behind Moko in a majority of fanfics and the community and stories and everything? It would be Kene. So I hope you guys are ready to be caved. This is again, very good job on the name of the song, Zion, the circle that created this. This is Nostalgic Blood of the East, Old World. Enjoy. Oh yeah. Scion's gonna definitely be making some more returns to the channel. They do have quite a lot of albums, so I am looking forward to hearing even more, and I look forward to their future releases. They're amazing. They really get your blood pumping. Oh, I don't even know how the whole cave thing began with Kane, and I just know it started with her and the horns and a butthole, and it happened to be Moko's butthole. So it was a weird thing. I don't know. Maybe the community just has like phases. I think like the community has like phases where they just go through weird things. Like I know for a little bit, Moko was like the thing that was bundled up inside of her pants, you know, with her pants tied over the top of her head. And you gotta ask yourself, like, who started that, and why did it catch on? We are responsible for so much crap, but it's good crap. At least I think about it nostalgically, going, you know, jumping back a little bit to that topic we had between songs, drum and bass of the Flower Bless and the Blood Red Moon. Nostalgia again plays part in how some things kind of get started, or at least how they kind of just still thrive. But I still think about Caved. I think about all the pictures when I was dressed as Moko and running into a Kane cosplayer, and they're like, hey, let's take a picture. And for some weird reason, they all mostly involved me being bent over. That was interesting times. That was very interesting times. I'd never had anyone who had such a fascination in my butt than Kane cosplayers. You know what's also weird is like over half of the Kane cosplayers were females. You would think they would not want to get anywhere near my posterior. But that being said, I don't really know what to talk about. My hosts really, more like my co-hosts, they really suck. They really do. Like Reina says, she was like, "Oh, I'm totally down to do Touhou Tuesday. I'm totally down for it." And now she's in like La La Land, dreaming, and sleeping, and I'm sitting here just like looking around my desk for anything to be a conversation piece. Just kind of stretch out a little bit so it's not just song to song to song to song. I mean, I'm looking at this old graphics card I got on my desk, and I'm like, where the graphics card? I don't know. I'm literally like stretching around for anything really. And you know, somebody said something X Sally 2009. It was 2009, the year you were born. I highly doubt that. I really highly doubt that. That would mean that you're like 9 years old. I can't help but like see that whenever I see a username with like it looks like a year in it, and it's oh, hey Ashley, I could tell by, you know, I see what you read and blah blah blah. I see what you typed and knew what you meant. Doing good. Hope you're healthy. Are you eating your veggies, the fruits? Hope you're still like doing them walks to like a Dollar General. I never used that a lot over here. That was like, I'm gonna go to Dollar General, and you walk over there, which is good. It's a good thing. It's healthy. It's healthy. Speaking of you know, things that are healthy, man, the 50s were full of weird inventions that they thought was like, oh, this will totally like help trim you down and slim you down. And it was things like the shaker. You guys ever seen that machine? And they came up with like the most amazing names for these machines as well. It was like the shaker. It was pretty much just this vibrating motor with a belt that you would just kind of wrap around your back, and you would turn it on, and it would literally just shake you, like jiggle you, just caress you, and just kind of. And they said it would shake off the weight. Now, of course, that's total bullshit. We all know the shaker doesn't work. It's the year 2018. Of course, it just doesn't work. Yeah, I know, right? It's the weirdest thing ever. And then they had like these. Oh God, I gotta like literally look up some of these things just for me to try and remember them. But they were like so many of these dumb little remedies. Oh, and then like the drugs. The drugs way back then. It's the weirdest. They would talk about like, oh yeah, this has got this chemical in it and this in it and cocaine. It'll help you lose weight. And then there was that diet thing in like the 70s, and it was called AIDS. And I'm not joking you, it was called AIDS. And it was basically a what do they call it when you laxative? It was basically just a chocolate laxative. And it was flat out on the box. You could probably Google it. AIDS weight loss. It looked like a little chocolate cube you could just eat, and you would later just shit your guts out. And that was the thing with the 70s. It's like AIDS will help you lose weight, and you would just poop it out. Essentially, I would assume. I mean, Lord help everybody who took that way back then. It was like the weirdest thing, and science advances. I'm pretty sure, like in 30 years, our kids are going to look back at the things that we have today and be like, man, people were so stupid back then. Kind of like us today, now looking back at the people with like the shaker and AIDS, and we're sitting here thinking, man, people back then were so stupid. It's just going to keep going on. We're always going to get a little bit more advanced in science, and we're always going to take a step back and look at like, oh, look at the year 2000. They had the shake weight. You know, you just shake the thing upside down, and you know, it looks like you're just jacking off a dumbbell. But like, gee, people back then thought that used to make you, you know, gain muscle mass and lose weight. Gee, what a bunch of losers. And then they're sitting there like twirling this rope with the flashlight on the end of it. It's like, the light helps you lose weight. I have no freaking clue what the hey to expect. I'm just gonna trust what we have though right now, because you know, in the future we're gonna laugh about it. That's gonna be the amazing thing, is that we're gonna laugh about it. I'm gonna sit here and be like, I remember fidget spinners, those were amazing. It's kind of like, any of y'all ever had a Furby? Those things were like, back then when they came out and it was Christmas and you looked under your tree and you had like a small octagon shaped present, you knew right there it was a Furby. You were so excited. You were going to push that little red button in his mouth and he was going to eat, and you were going to squeeze his tummy and he was going to think he was being tummy rubbed, and you're going to cover his little light sensor and he was going to think it was. We were so easily entertained back then. And then again, and I haven't said this on the stream, I am 31 years old. Today, kids are playing with like iPhones and iPads and stuff like that. They're playing sophisticated games and stuff. When I was 5 and 6, you know what I did? I ate dirt. I was not the brightest kid. And I don't think anybody in my time was ever the brightest kid, because, you know, everyone eats dirt. Everyone's had that little moment where they're like, wait a minute. If I can eat Brussels sprouts, and I can eat lettuce, and I can eat ham, does that mean I can eat anything? And you make that mistake of like eating dirt or leaves, and you realize that that is a horrible mistake. That's... Today's kids are all like, duh, GG noob, stupid, eating dirt and leaves. Now let me go back to playing this Flappy Bird. Just tapping the screen in a rhythm. Tap, 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 tap. What did I used to do back then? You know, today is like everything I do, the internet. You know, I use the internet to fiddle with things. And I'm just now segueing into like the next whatever might float topic. I sit here and I'm like, I do all these things on the internet, and sometimes I'm just like, I'm bored. I don't know what to do. And I sit here and I think, what did I used to do way back then in the day when it was like, all right, Jonathan, go outside and play in the backyard. And I literally would walk out there and it's just a wide open, empty grass field. But for me, it was an adventure out there growing up. Today's kids, you throw them outside, they feel like they just got chucked out of civilization. They got to build a fire. You got to start a tribe. You know, my kids, I stick my kids outside, And they stand around like you just done like abandoned them on an alien world, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know what to do about there's this bright thing in the sky. That doesn't look like the lamp. It looks like a big old ball of stuff, and it's warm, and it hurts my eyes to stare at it." Like, it's sad that I have to go out there and tell them not to stare at the sun, which only adds more to the reason of like, oh, I'm gonna stare at it because Daddy told me not to. So that's a little interesting thing about parenthood is that you just don't ever tell them to not to do something, because then that will just make them want to do something. If you ever mention anything about food and toilet in the same sentence, you know at some point you're gonna find like freaking, I don't know, toast in your toilet, and you're gonna be like, how the hell did that get in there? Why is there toast in my toilet? Kids. So, well, I'm out of things to segue into, so let's just segue into this next song. This is Illusion of the Sky, finally a music artist who legitly made their own name for their song. This is T-Node's Illusion of Sky, which is Utsuho Ryuji's theme, and it's actually one of my favorite themes out there. And I do hope you guys enjoy. Oh, that was such a good remix of Nuclear Fusion, Gnosis of the Sun God. That one is one of my absolute favorite remakes of that song. I feel it really grabs the character's backstory. Like, you play the games, you get like an idea of why some of them do what they're doing. For example, Touhou is trying to relight the fires of hell, which if you look in the background on that picture there, we got hell going on back there. Probably Mordor. And she's trying to relight hell to make her master Satori, who is now like heartbroken because her sister has disappeared, trying to make her master happy again. And the reason why Satori is, heartbroken is because her sister Koichi disappeared. Why did Koichi disappear? Because, any Touhou fan knows that Satori and Koichi could read people's minds, but Koichi read some people's minds and they called, her and her sister a monster, and, they're despicable, and, they should be, shunned, and that really hurt Koichi's feelings, so she closed her third eye, and in doing so, lost her memory and wandered about aimlessly. And it's really like just a tragedy after tragedy after tragedy. And Touhou gets a rep for being like one of the only Touhou bosses whose sole, goal as like a boss of the entire game series is to destroy the world, to burn the surface. And really, it's her sole goal is to make Satori smile. And I don't know anyone who would really, smile at like the scorching of the surface. That's quite dark. But considering that they're in hell, maybe it's nice. Comparatively, I have no clue. I feel like most people are all like, you got to be good, or you're gonna go to hell, or whatnot. What if hell, like Satan's down there, like, yo, what's up? I don't know what everyone up there is saying about it, but yeah, welcome to the party. Here's a drink. Have at it. Because as far as like what I've heard through, not insulting anyone here or Christianity or anything, but the Christian nuts, as I like to refer to the ones, the ones that are sitting there saying that Trump is like the next savior of the American people. He's gonna bring everything back into the Holy Land and stuff like that. Those people sit there and say like heaven, when you go to heaven, spend the rest of eternity worshiping God. And I sit there and I'm like, in one way that sounds kind of nice, and in another way, I don't know if I just want to spend every single moment praising him. So what if like Satan and his fallen angels are like rebels? They broke free and they're doing their own thing, and screw the man, and we're gonna have free will and freedom and throw tea into the harbor. Or it could be we're gonna throw boiled eggs into the lava pool on Touhou's case here. What if it's like politics and stuff in the next life? We really don't know it. What if we're already dead? And our previous life was in some alternate universe where we thought heaven was going to be like this, and it's not. So now we're expected to die and go to heaven. And when we go to the next place, it's going to be another alternate universe where we got to live another alternate life, in some weird universe thing where we're going to expect to die and go to, I don't know, some other alternate word for heaven, Kajim. We're going to go to Kajim when we die in the next life, which is going to be like a water world, and heavens, who knows? I'm rambling. I'm literally just rambling to fill in the air. But I had a chat with some of my friends on Discord for a while about religion and science, which a lot of people like to keep their religion and their science. I'm now messing with the fire alarm again. Isn't that a great thing to play with while you're on a stream? A fire alarm. It's an amazing little, like, it could go off. It could, no, there's no battery in it. Don't worry. Battery is not there. It is not plugged up. But we were talking about like science and religion. And you got to sit there and wonder, when God explained to mankind, yeah, I made the world in a week, was that a week to him? Or is that a literal, like, human's perception of the week? You know, did it really take, like, a legit, 24 hours of a day, 7 days of the week to create the universe? Or was it, as, human scientists say, about 8 billion years to create the Earth and the quote-unquote the heavens? Don't know. I'm gonna go with science though, because carbon dating and whatnot. But you gotta kind of sit there and wonder, what if God, when he explained everything to mankind, just kind of had to dumb it down for a moment? Because you really think about it, Adam and Eve, they didn't exactly quote-unquote spawn knowing how to build a house. I bet they just kind of had to figure that out for themselves. And then God's sitting here like, I'm going to tell them 8 billion years is how old this whole, campaign is. But I highly doubt people who could barely build a house would understand the entirety of the cosmos. So maybe God just kind of dumbed it down for us. And we just kind of rolled with it. And now he's up in heaven right now face-palming like, you guys are literally looking at the answer. And you're still going by what I said freaking 6,000 years ago. What the hey, guys? I'm pretty sure God's laughing at us right now. Especially like the ones that are all, holding their hands up in a church, praying loudly, and very, very, especially those church con artists, the ones that'll like wave their hand over your head and everyone just falls over because they feel like they're blessed. I laugh at those so much. It's such shenanigans. It's like wrestling. Wrestling and church con artists are pretty much the same thing. You could probably swap the actors out and it would look legit. Could you imagine like a pastor getting up there with like, Undertaker? And like they just go back and forth at each other. Jesus will heal you. Oh, we're gonna go down into hell. It'd be an interesting take on just mixing things. If I was God, or if I had like the abilities of like just editing reality, you could bet that there would be weird things like that occasionally in reality. Just preachers going against WWE fighters. Man, I am impressed that this is like on like an hour and 16 minutes now, and I still got like 2 more songs, although it's technically 1 more song and then like the ending, which for those of you that were like here since like the very beginning, you'll remember like the first song was Marisha Stole the Precious Thing video was included. And I'm pretty sure you'll recognize the final one, but we still have 1 more actual song before we have like another chit-chat segment. We'll go ahead and just jump straight into that. How's that sound? Does that sound good? I mean, we're going to be kind of just weaning back out of it. We had a lot of like metal, rock, and like headbanging, and really bad hairstyles, and lots of hair gel. That's just kind of what goes into my head when I think of like metal, but I think it's time we like chill it out. We kind of get back into Zen, ready to phase back into the normal sucky thing that is real life, and enjoy some kind of a classical relaxing tune. This is going to be Flowering Night. Gee, the artist today, that is 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's just 3 artists out of today's 9 songs. Just didn't name the song at all in their own words. They just said, oh, well, it's a remix of that song, so let's just call it that song. But this is Flowering Night by Tamusic. Weird thing to try and like pronounce, because you could be Tamu-sick or Tamusic. I'm just going to go with Tamusic. So you guys enjoy Flowering Night. It was good and relaxing. I always enjoy like a little bit of orchestral or orchestral. I guess it depends on like the part of the world on how you would pronounce that. It's kind of like potato, potato, tomato, potato, no, tomato, tomato, tomato. Sitting here thinking about freaking what was that guy's name? Known for like reading cue cards, but I always enjoy that. It's always like a nice thing to just kind of wind down. It helps you relax and kind of chill back into reality a little bit. I mean, after a whole day of like playing metal and some good stuff, it's nice to just kind of chill it, you know. And this is like the last little segment. We get to like close out things. This is gonna be lame. I'm pretty sure this has been a disaster because normally I would have 3 other people with me, but one of them's going through like a thing over in Japan with the elections. Another one is at work, and the other one is asleep. Good job, guys. I appreciate being like the one that's alone, sitting here, twiddling my thumbs, staring at a fire alarm. That's going to be today's like theme, is the fire alarm. The fire alarm of the stream. Oh boy. I hope one day that this will like be a laughable thing, because you know I'm as well as streaming, I'm also recording. So if you ever want to go back and like rewatch it or listen to some of the music again, or if you get like the names of the artists, it'll be a good thing to go back and look them up and find all the other songs. Because if you really like it, I would recommend all these artists to go like pick up their albums and stuff. It's a great thing. They really put a lot into it. But with that, oh boy. When you're hosting a stream all by yourself, and you normally have someone to like to feed off of, and they can say something stupid, so that you can say something stupid, so that they can say something stupid, so that you can say something stupid. It's really hard when you're on your own, because then you're like, I'm literally, it is a game for me at the moment to keep this little like bar graph on the OBS, keep it moving. You know, I say something, and the little bar graph slowly fades off of the green, and I gotta say something else before it moves on, and I gotta do it again, and I gotta interrupt it, almost like I'm teasing it, like cock teasing like the audio mic bar, and it's kind of pathetic. I don't have anything to feed off of, and of course nobody's gonna say anything in the text chat. Nobody has anything. Nobody has opinions. No one's gonna tell me I'm stupid for thinking that the universe is 8 billion years old, when someone could easily type in there, excuse me, I think that the universe is actually like 8.5 billion years old. You need to get your facts straight. So, next Touhou stream, which is always going to be, if you look down there, you'll see like it says now live, and it says like Tuesday at 11 a.m. shown in America, New York. It's always going to be the same time. Hopefully next week we'll have a better lineup for our hosts, because it just didn't happen this week, which is weird. Out of 4 people, 1 could make it. 1 could make it. And that's a weird thing. You know, I was thinking 4 hosts, that's perfect. We should always at least have 2, and then like immediately like just bomb out not too shortly after. But with that, we're almost at an hour and 30 minutes, which is a lot longer than what I would go for technically 9 songs. So, hey, thanks for sticking through this whole thing. I know it's kind of just fizzing out in a way. Like, okay, guys, we're gonna put out the campfire, and then you just got like a freaking Chinook helicopter dumping a massive load of water on top of the fire, and it's like, good, I think that's out. But if you guys totally like this thing, totally like hang around, come back like next week. Touhou Tuesdays is always on Tuesdays, because Tuesdays is always going to be Touhou. always going to be the same time. It's going to be the same place. It's going to be different songs, definitely. If you guys have like any kind of suggestions or anything, find me on Discord. Like after I close this stream, you'll see like my Discord info. Totally hit me up and tell me like, hey, I want to hear some of this person, and I will totally go and like get like a whole album of theirs, listen to all their songs, because I at work I have a lot of time to listen to music now, and so putting down a whole album and picking out a couple of good ones, I'll definitely do that and throw that into stream. And if you hear it, you know, you could sit there and giggle and laugh at like, I suggested that to him and now he's playing into the stream. I'm awesome. Totally. You know, hit me up with anything you got. It's suggestions. It's Night Force #0001. I don't even know if you could really call it a hashtag when it's in like Discord, really. I mean, what would you guys go? Would you go with $? Some people say the pound key. I hate it when someone says the pound key, because then I'm sitting there like, is it the star or is it the hashtag? I think older people call it a pound sign. And when I think of a pound sign, I think of like the European pound symbol, you know, their currency. That's what I think of when I hear the pound sign. But that's just, I guess, a cultural thing, which is weird. Or like, not really a cultural, more of a time thing, really. That's funny. We're talking about, got like on the topic of time with Sakia as the last song played, which that was Flowering Night, by the way, by Music. Sometimes I feel like I just gotta say the before and after, because then, you know, one day there's gonna be that one person that after the song, it's gonna be like, who made that and what was the name of it? I'll be like, okay, I gotta repeat it again. It'll be good. I think 9 songs seems to be a good thing. Now the challenge is gonna be like after about a dozen or so like Touhou Tuesdays, you know, like the first song I play, it's gonna be like one of those catchy ones, you know, the ones that everybody knows. Like this stream's first song was Marissa Stole the Precious Thing, and then the next song y'all are totally gonna recognize if you know anything about Touhou, and you'll be like, oh yeah, okay, figures he'd close it with what he started. But you know, being all OG, you know, the original thing that Zune had. I'm still rambling like hell. I'm just clogging up airtime. You guys are ready to go on with the rest of your lives, aren't you? So I guess I'll just go ahead and close this out. It has been officially an hour and 30 minutes. I call this a somewhat semi-successful stream. We had people come in. We had people leave. We had more come in. We had more leave. And now everyone's going to be leaving in just a bit. So if you guys want more, totally hit me up on Discord. Totally, like, tune in like next week, same time, 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. Eastern time. And I hope you guys have a good week, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Ta-ta!